What you're seeing right now is the portrait of a dwarf named Nano Morgante. What you're also seeing is a four-dimensional picture, believe it or not. But everything looks normal, right? You can see a dwarf with his determined face, his large belly, and the heroic posture. It seems like Morgante has won a war. But hold on a second. What if you wanted to see him from behind? After all, such a special sight requires different angles, right? Well, you're in luck, because here's the portrait of the same man from a different angle. I know what you're looking at. Not this, but this. Nano Morgante was not holding this in the first picture. That means that not only does the second painting show a different angle, but it shows a different moment in time. And by the way, these are not two separate paintings. They're painted on the front and back side of the same canvas. So when you look at the back of the painting, you also look at the gorgeous back of, the backside of Nano Morgante. I know what you're thinking. No, not that. Why did the painter take the effort of making both sides of the same subject? That too of a dwarf. This was made in 1552. Da Vinci had made the Mona Lisa by then, and Michelangelo had made his masterpiece in the Sistine Chapel. So why did Anglo Bronzino, the painter of this artwork, choose to make this painting? Well, the story I'm about to tell you is so exciting because this is the first four-dimensional painting in the world, and perhaps the only one. And it was made to win a peculiar debate and put an arrogant sculptor in his place. So what do you want to hear first? I know you want to know more about Morgante, but let me start with the story why the painter Bronzino made this four-dimensional painting and everything about the debate. Let's wind the clock back to the 1500s and travel to the scenic city of Florence. We're in the crux of the Renaissance movement, and Italy is the epicenter of it. This was the time when timeless paintings like Mona Lisa, The Birth of Venus, The Creation of Adam, and The Last Supper were made. However, around the mid-1500s, a famous sculptor named Benvenuto Cellini, I'm sorry Italian people if I mispronounced that, I tried my best, came into the scene. Now, this Cellini was not the most friendly guy. In fact, he was known for constantly getting into conflicts with his colleagues and other artists. There are some dark things about this man that I think we should avoid for now. But we'll come to that in the next video. Anyways, out of the many conflicts he started, he was very likely the person who started the famous Paragon debate between sculptors and artists. The word paragon means comparison, and the gist of the debate was this. Imagine that you're a painter during that time and you're working really hard to create masterpieces. And then a guy who clearly no one likes comes up to you and says that a sculpture was a superior form of art than a painting because of its three-dimensional nature. A viewer can look at the work from different angles, and the sculptor can represent the subject in a better way. This was an interesting point, and it certainly shows the advantage of a sculpture over a two-dimensional painting. The debate spread across the country, with Michelangelo having the most understandable and diplomatic answer that both art forms are special in their own way. You might feel annoyed, but again, Cellini had a point. Other painters countered that sculptures failed to capture the artist's rendition of the scene. A scene or a subject can be painted with different colors and in different styles. This is certainly an artistic advantage, but it was very difficult to counter the perspective argument. No matter how beautiful the painting is, it cannot show the subject from different angles at once. I think you have an idea where this is going. And then Mr. Bronzino got the brilliant idea to make a painting that shows both sides of the same subject. And he would have won at that moment, but he did not stop there. To completely destroy Cellini's argument of perspective, he went the extra mile and did something extremely smart. Remember how Cellini said that sculptures are far more superior than paintings because viewers can see another dimension of it, the third dimension? Well, guess what? Bronzino slam dunked with the portrait of the most famous dwarf in Italy of that time. The painting shows another side of the man, which disproves Cellini's argument. Just like you can see multiple angles of a sculpture, you can also see a different angle of the subject here. But this painting is even better than a sculpture because it also moves the viewers ahead in time. As you walk past the painting to look at the backside, you see Morgante from a different angle and from different time. The first part shows him preparing for a hunt, but the backside shows him after he caught the game. The three dimensions of space are captured here, along with the one dimension of time. Yeah, take that, Cellini. No sculpture can do what this painting did so eloquently and so beautifully. And there was no comeback that came from Cellini. Other painters added multiple mirrors inside the scene to show even other angles on the same canvas, proving how paintings can also do what sculptures can. While the Paragon debate lasted even longer in other parts of the country, it can be assumed that Cellini got the answer he was not expecting. The painting also shows the genius of Bronzino. Apart from making some of the most gorgeous paintings, he knew how to put arrogant people in their place. Now that we know the reason why this painting was made, let's take a closer look at the subject. Trust me, Morgante was kind of a celebrity of his time. Nano Morgante, which meant the dwarf Morgante, was the court jester of the Grand Duke of Tuscany. The funny thing is that the name Morgante came from an epic written by Luigi Pulci, in which Morgante is a giant. So this man literally is the little giant. This is not the only visual representation of the famous dwarf. There are multiple paintings and sculptures of Morgante, some even showing him riding a turtle. In this painting you can see the dwarf is holding a small bird. This was not just because of his small stature, but people of low rankings were not allowed to hunt bigger birds. Also, if you notice the lower part of the painting, there are two snow-tailed butterflies. One of them is just about to leave the frame, while the other is in the right place at the right time. It saved me from censoring this bit, so thanks mate. Interestingly, these two butterflies were only recently discovered when the painting was restored. The owl here was used as a bait for other birds. Now you might think that a painting with two sides cannot be hung on the wall like other paintings. And you'd be right. This is why the portrait of Nano Morgante is kept inside a glass enclosure in the middle of the room. You can just walk towards it and then past it to move in space and time at the same time. You might also notice that the posture of our dwarf is a bit unnatural. Look at the way his hands are placed or how his ankle has turned. Well, this is because this was a mannerist painting. The art style is known for portraying people in bizarre poses. I mean, look at this painting called Madonna with a Long Neck. Everything looks weird, right? Well, you can watch the video on this painting after you're done with this one. Morgante was often ridiculed for his condition. But look at the man. He was strong and brave, and he couldn't care less about what others thought of him. According to historical texts, Morgante was a very witty person, a quality that made him very dear to the Duke of Tuscany. And look where we are, at the end of this video. Now's the time I talk to you guys. Let me know if you liked the story behind the painting or found the video interesting. And if you liked how I present the story in the video, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Till we meet next time, have a great day ahead.